successful, but what? They're not successful. Why?
So that's his why buy. But what is he afraid of?
My personal style of education, but still entertain them, bring them along with stories, right?
If you're a real man, what do you do? I'm not the only one.
You can't wait to tell your spouse. You can't wait to tell your colleague. You can't wait to go to work and tell somebody. And you're like, oh my God, I can't wait. So what happened?
If you haven't seen my TV show, you should get cable. That's what you need to do.
From doing a TV show to doing corporate events, I've been so lucky to connect with many passionate entrepreneurs worldwide.
What I've learned from a business perspective.
Because this is the formula for success, no matter who you talk to. Attitude will drive your behavior. Would you agree? And your behavior will drive your consequences every single time.
We got the concept. Okay, we got the concept. We got the equipment, right? We got the brand. You guys got that. And then again, we got the content that we create. That's the easy part. This is the big one, the big C, which is the commitment.
What should you do? That's right. All right. 10Xers, do not fail me. True test. Here it comes.
There's skill, and then there's will. Listen to what I'm saying. There is skill, and then there is will. And here's the interesting thing. I know a lot of people who have a lot of skill, but have no what? Will, right? You ever look at somebody who's successful, and you say, why them? Why not you? Yes, okay, that's me too.
You have more control, but your costs are also going to be what? Higher.
Now, here's where some of the magic is starting to kick in.
You can talk to any CEO in the B2B business, any CEO. You walk into his office and they only care about three things. People too. Yeah, he with the suit, put it up. There you go. I hope you can see this. I'll try to draw big. Let's pretend for a moment that I had 7 territories. You remember I wrote that out? Yes or no? Boom. Territory 2, territory 3, all the way to territory number what? 7. So now I've segmented my market.
So content is going to start being created by machines. And I'm telling you right now that those people, you guys, the content creators that connect with people are the ones that are going to win. Some people think, well, it won't work for my industry. Really? It'll work for any industry. Trust me. The majority of the time when we're looking to fix something, repair something, or learn something, where do we go? YouTube. We don't even want to read anymore. We go to YouTube. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong.
When you're doing your thing, beautiful things begin to happen. It's like the law of attraction kicks in. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're in line with the universe. Everything works. And when you do your thing, everybody gets an automatic MBA, which stands for what? Mega Bank Account Money. Are you with me? So we don't want to do a thing. We want to do a what? Beautiful.
All right, put it all together for Victor Antonio. Here we go.
All right, there we go. I'm not here to mess around. You ready to learn? Yes or no?
That's how it works in today's market. Whether it's B2B or B2C, you see the similar pattern. But how do you just, in other words, say you've got to start doing these things, pushing them, but also encouraging them. Oh, look at this. This is where it gets, dude, this is like so interactive with audience. Can you imagine this with your customers? Check this out. Now, what does all this have to do with selling? It has everything to do with selling.
All right, welcome to another episode of Sales After Dark. This is the new studio right here. Got a new look. Let me know what you think, man. Anyway, if you're joining Sales After Dark for the first time, here's how it works. I'm going to say hi to some friends here. I'll jump into some content, and then you can ask me all kinds of questions and answers. Give me a thumbs up if you're good with that. So we're changing the studio. I still haven't finished it. We're going to do a couple of different things, so I hope you guys like it. Let me see how I can get the comments on here. I've changed a lot of things. Let me add this to the broadcast. We got Maxine right here. Hello from North Carolina, man. Maxine, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you, man. So let me see. Inkle John, man, what's happening? Hey, man, I love the Demolytics. Isn't that a great interview? By the way, check out the Sales Influence podcast. That is a great interview, man. So again, check it out. That's the future, man. Demolytics is the future of demoing. Michael G, what's happening from Jakarta, Indonesia? Boom. Thank you for joining us, man. My girl, West Coast, Mia Knox. Thank you, Mia, for always being there, man. I appreciate you. You know that. Chuka. Good morning from Finland, man. Oh, it just says Finland. I feel cold, man. Juka, thanks for joining us, man. David, what's happening from Norman, Oklahoma? Who lives in Oklahoma? I guess you do. Anyway, Taru, what's happening, man? Good morning from India. Thank you for getting up early, man. I know you're up. Let me see. Wow, love the new look. Yeah, like I said, I'm still working on it, but this is kind of a new look. I wanted to just change it with the logo and everything. I noticed that a lot of people are starting to use my black curtains with the blue, and so I said, you know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to show you something cool in just a bit. Watch this. I'm going to show you something really cool in just a bit. Jingy, good evening from the TO, man. Also, Mia Knox, you're digging the studio, bright. I think it's brighter, right? Like the new studio, just a different look. We're going to probably put some graphics or something here, and then. But I got to show you something here. Let me just see if I can get this going here in a little bit. Oh, you saw it already. There it is. Hello again from Texas. So anyway, before I jump into this actual stuff, check this out. So I'm adding this new feature. Let me know how you like it. It actually moves with me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to start incorporating this into my presentations. What do you think? And so it's a new tool I'm using. Let me before I tell you what it is, man, like I said, let me test this piece of equipment out and then just kind of move back and forth. But what I want to do is create a more, dynamic environment, right? Just, so anyways, just stuff like that. Anyway, Jared says, Digger, what color is the background? The background is called Goldenrod. That's right, Goldenrod. I got it over at Sherwin-Williams. It's like a mustard yellow. Depending on how you highlight things, it's pretty cool. TJ, what's happening in the house? And so, like I said, I'm going to start working with this roving camera. It kind of just follows you around, and it just gives the whole presentation a little different dynamic. Tell me what you think of that, or does that drive you nuts when I do that? You can actually go all the way over here. Check it out. It just kind of follows you, or you can kind of go this way and just see what's over here. And so you can actually just kind of just play with the studio a little bit. So yeah, I think it just adds a certain dynamic to the presentation. So I got to get used to it. I'm actually playing with it. Got a big presentation on Tuesday, so a couple people jumping on. Ovum, what's happening? From McAllen, way to go, man. Let me see who else is on here. We got Juka, man. I think it's pretty. Yeah, you have a drone tracking you, man. It's not a drone, man, but it's a drone. No, it's not a drone, man. So it's an interesting tool, man. So let me play with it for a little bit, and if I like it, I'll push it, I'll promote it. But so far, this thing was easy to install, get going. It was really a cool tool. So anyway, you'll let me know if it's too distracting as I present. So anyway, today I want to talk about, I just want to jump into the content of TJ, yes, new studio, man. New studio. And like I said, we're going to add some nice graphics in the background. Maybe make it, if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. But I'm trying to keep it very simple, very minimalist, if you know what I mean. So anyway, let me jump into content, and then I'll just grab some questions. I wanted to talk about triggers for change, and how this came about. These triggers for change is why I'm using this new camera, right? Because what was the trigger that made me want to say, let me get a new camera and get this auto tracking going? And my trigger for change was that other people were copying my look, my background. They even copied the board, right? They got the board, they got the background. And I said, I got to kind of change it up a little bit, start using my brand colors, and also maybe just add some dynamism to it, right? So maybe make it more dynamic. So that was my trigger for change. And that got me to think about, why do people change, right? Like, I was totally comfortable with the way the old studio was looking. The old studio's over there, by the way, just right over there. And I was comfortable with that look, but then it's like I felt like I needed to change. Maybe it was just something different. I just wanted something more fresh, brighter. And again, I think it was just because I saw a lot of people doing what I was doing. I said, let me be different. Let me change one more time. So what I want to do is talk about reasons or triggers for change. So when you're talking to a customer in a sales process or even during a discovery call, you want to figure out what are the triggers for change. And we're going to talk about discovery calls as well. So let's talk about triggers for change. I listed out about 7 different triggers that you can use for change. So the first one is maybe there's a change in ownership, right? In other words, somebody bought it out. And it doesn't have to be so much that somebody bought it out. Maybe somebody bought out the company, somebody bought out the product, whatever it may be. But there's a change in ownership. Something very similar is that there's a change in leadership. And that's always a trigger for change. Now, the difference between ownership and leadership within a company is that maybe the department that was being run by a certain manager, the manager left, and so a new manager comes in, and all of a sudden, they have new ownership of that. So they want to do it differently. They want to play with it differently, right? And so these are 2 reasons for change. Here's another one. Maybe the financial situation has changed. Maybe the company is not making enough money, so they have to change. Or 2, they're making a lot of money and they want to invest. So maybe that's the reason the company is moving forward. And we're going to talk about why knowing this is important. Also, maybe the support ended. In other words, they love the product, but they no longer love the product. So the support's ended, right? So these are 4 reasons. Let me give you a couple more. And then, by the way, as I'm talking about these, why don't you guys think of reasons why people change? What are some of the triggers you see? Okay? So sometimes the vendor goes out of what? Business. There's another trigger for change, right? So again, think about it. Also, maybe they discovered that they need a certain feature within the product that your product doesn't have. There's a reason for change. I got a new camera because it didn't have the tracking feature that I wanted. Time for change, right? Different reasons. A couple more and that's it. Sometimes the interface is too difficult. The GUI, the graphic user interface, is difficult to use. And when it's difficult to use, you just don't want to use it anymore. So keep that in mind, that sometimes it's just too difficult. By the way, I'm trying to figure out how this camera tracks sometimes. So anyway, the other thing is, when you think about, there's nothing wrong with the product. Everybody loves it. And I want to check this one. I want to make sure they stop using it. Would you agree with that? They're not using it anymore. What does that mean? If the product is too difficult to use, nobody's using it, there's a reason for change. So there's 8 reasons why you would want to change your product. Now, I just gave you 8 basic ones. My question to you is, do you have reasons why customers would want to change? Because as you're having that conversation, isn't that something you want to know? Why do they want to change? Good question, right? Now think about this. Let's move on to a discovery call. When you're on a call with a customer, these are the questions we have to ask. There's 4 major questions you have to ask. The first one is, during a discovery call, because I'm getting this a lot, during a discovery process, you want to ask why. Why are you changing? Like, why do you want to change? In fact, not only why do you want to change, why now is always a good question to ask, right? Right? So why change? Why now? That was cool. The camera just did that. That came right back. See, this is why, unless I test it, I'm not going to recommend it to you. This one's kind of moving. By the way, what do you think of the camera so far? Except for once in a while, it just goes wild on me. So I got to make sure I keep this one tracking correctly. Maybe I got to adjust it something. But anyway, back to this. Why now? Why change? Why now? Also, we have to ask, what are they currently using? This is a big one. During a discovery process, again, why? What are they using? By the way, the why and why now is typically associated with the trigger, the 8 that I gave you. Typically, people change for several reasons. There could be one of 8. As I already mentioned, one of 8 reasons that they would want to change. But also, again, what are they currently using? This is a good question to ask. When somebody's looking at your product or service, are they using anything? There's three types. One is they're not using anything. They're using nothing. They're using a do-it-yourself product, something they make on their own. Or, last but not least, maybe they're using the competitor. So this is something you have to know. Why change? Why now? Right? And again, what are they currently using? If you know what they're currently using, then you can position the product that much better. Now, if you know this already, then third step in the discovery process, you understand the triggers, right? You got that. You understand the triggers. You understand what they're using. Then the third one is to dig into the pros and cons of what they're currently using. What are they currently using? And they'll tell you what they're currently using, right? They'll literally tell you what they're currently using. And the fourth one, I think this is the tough one. This is the tough one in selling today. The tough one in selling is to gain a sense of urgency. What do I mean by that? By sense of urgency, I mean this. When you're talking to a customer, one of the things you want to do is kind of sense how urgent is it? I think that's an important one, right? Because when you're asking questions, or when you're looking for pros and cons or why they want to change, one of the things I want to know is, why are you changing? Because if I understand why they're changing, then maybe, just maybe, I can sell or position the product more effectively. So give that some thought. Anyway, I wanted to review this stuff. I know I went through it very quickly, but the big reason today, the big thing I want to talk to you about today was just triggers. What triggers change? Me, I need a new camera. I need to do something different. What triggers your change? What's the last thing that you've been through, changed on, and what triggered that change? Was it money? Was it a new need? Was it a change of situation? What was it? And so I think if we understand triggers, what triggers people to make a change? 2, we ask the right questions to figure out what that change is and then detect the sense of urgency. What are you currently using? How bad do you want it? You'll be able to position your product that much more effective. And that is it on this Sales After Dark. That's all I wanted to show you today, besides the new studio, and just have a quick conversation. And I know this thing is just streaming like a nut right here. So anyway, let me go back down. I'll go all the way to the top here. And again, I'll bring up some of the comments. I know I missed some of them. So let me see. We got Juka. We got that one. I think I got that one. New studio. Yes, TJ, new studio. I bought the Challenger sale. And received it today. Already read through the second chapter. It's a great book, man. It is a great book. It is a cool tool. I'll keep playing with it and let you know what I think of it, man. Again, it just really depends on the product. I'd rather watch El Maestro than the Super Bowl. Oh, that's right. I'm up against Super Bowl, aren't I? I didn't even think about that. I'm just not, do you know what I mean? I'm just not into the Super Bowl thing. Let me see. Rosa Paucar. En español, por favor. Rosa, lo que quiero que hagas es, ten el podcast, ahora tengo podcast en español, pero este programa en inglés. Sorry, gotta go back to English. But anyway, so I love that. Let me see. Mikey May, love that name. Mikey May, great stuff. I just had a change in management. Always, if you work the same markets, call again. You never know who bought the company. They changed because they've done previous advertising. There's a part B to that. But I'm liking what you're saying so far, man. I like what you're saying so far. Discovering that they lack understanding. That's the tough part. Yeah, if you can get to that, that's great. Here in the Philippines, they accommodate someone they know. I don't know what you mean by that, TJ. Help me out with that one. What to expand my customers? What do you mean by that? What to expand? What to expand my customers? Man, you guys are killing me with the cryptic. I missed that one. Sorry I'm late, Pete. Welcome, man. Want to expand. Oh, you want to expand. They want to expand business. Yes, if they want to go into new markets, great reason. Should have added that one in. That's an excellent reason, man. So Maxine, you're on it. You get it. Pete, good evening. I'm doing laundry while watching you. I don't know how I feel about that. Rod Vidre, where have you been, my man? Let me see if I can just squeeze this in a little bit. By the way, they've changed like the interface on this thing, so I'm trying to work with it. Hey, Victor, love the new studio and paparazzi stock camera. Here's another reason for change. Quarter life crisis and realizing that one has completely different talent / purpose or passion. Man, I can't argue that one, Rod. I can't argue that one. You have that, you have that crisis. You call it a quarter life crisis. What's a quarter life crisis? Is that when you're 25? That's a serious question, by the way. New look, new studio, looks great, man. Yeah, still working it, man. Still working it. Oh, my man, Jared. What's happening, Jared? You know we still got to get on that podcast together, my friend. So I got you. I just backed up a little bit, if you don't mind. But anyway, I just wanted to hop on real quick. I figured I'd get on. I didn't realize it was Super Bowl Sunday. By the way, who's playing? Let me know who's playing on Super Bowl Sunday. If you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask, man. I'm in a chill mood, so let me know if you have any questions. I mean, some clients change. Oh, this is TJ again, man. What's TJ? Give it back to me. Okay. I mean, some clients change because someone they know offered them the same product. That's true, man. Sometimes people rather buy from people they know, you know. So, yeah, man. Jared, yeah, man. I got you, man. Thank you, brother. Okay, and so Mohammed Al-Tamani, what if the change trigger is social political? Yeah, those are the big unknowns, right? Mohammed, because it's one of those. By the way, hope your business is going well, man. I'm pulling for you on the biz, man. But yeah, I think in different parts of the world, different regions. I mean, look at our situation here in the U.S. Change of presidency, immediately change of policies, man. It's like disruption all over again. So yeah, again, the question is, how do we use that to our advantage? Thank you. Jared said the Bucks and the Chiefs, I think. Leon Daly, love the new Victor most. Okay, man, I love it too, man. Patriots South versus KC. Oh, there it is. There it is. Patriots versus KC. Tom Brady is playing the GOAT, just like Victor the GOAT in sales, man. Oh, thank you, brother. Tom Brady's awesome, man. He is awesome. Man, it's a shame. I didn't even realize it was Super Bowl Sunday. I should have thought about it. And regret in the end because the service is not as good as mine. Yeah, I mean, buying from somebody just because you know them is never a good reason. Buying from somebody because they have a better product is a better reason. So I'm with you on that, man. So I'm with you. Question, man. Many private schools are closing here because public schools are offering free tuition. So how can they strive in this pandemic time? This is a really interesting question. It has nothing to do with sales, but kind of has to do with sales. Here's what's going to happen, Inkle. Here's what's going to happen. Because I've seen it happen in Latin America, is when we lived in Argentina, they offered free education, right? And so everybody got degrees, right? And what happened is you were flooded in the market with people with degrees that even, I would be driven by taxi drivers who had PhDs. And this was not like a, once in a while occurrence. I mean, people were driving me around because everybody had a degree. I think what will happen is that, this is over time, by the way. So, and again, this is off topic, but I'll give you my answer. I think this is what will happen over time is that, yeah, people will get the free degrees, right? They'll go to free. But what you're going to see is that quality of education go down. What you're going to see is private education raise their game, raise their tuition, and people will want the best of the best for their kids, will actually put people in private schools. I think that's what's going to happen. And if you came from a private school, you'll have higher credentials. In other words, the perception will be that much higher. So it needs to sort itself out, but in the long run, I think that's what's going to happen. I could be wrong. Let me see, where we're at. So you guys say hi to each other. Camlesh Sawant, man, what's happening? There's a possibility that during marketing call, we can create this trigger for the customer. That is correct. That is making them aware of something they don't know. I mean, it's always better that they're aware, so you don't have to tell them that. So I think that's always a better deal. Let me see, you guys are saying hi to each other. Patriots, I got it. During COVID, having challenge selling ad space. Any tip? Challenge selling ad space. Man, you're kind of facing like an interesting dilemma, Maxine. I don't have a tip for you, but I'm empathizing with you because you're facing an interesting dilemma. In many cases, you have companies who are they're killing it during this pandemic, right? And I've talked about this in the past, Sales After Dark. They're just literally killing it. And then you have other companies who are just struggling and almost going out of business. So you got people who are doing well who say, I don't need it because guess what? I'm doing well. Then there's people who are freaking out. And, the reality is the best time to advertise is when things are going bad. I mean, now's the time to start doing advertising, and now's the time to get the great deals. And maybe it's a matter of reframing it that way, that now is a good time to advertise. One, rates are lower. Two, nobody else is marketing. Now's your moment to market. So, if you look at the great investors like a Warren Buffett, they'll tell you when the market's down, that's the best time to invest, right? That's the time you go in. So maybe that might be an angle for your pitch. Studio looks good and something new, but the movement of the camera is too much. I think so too, man. I think it is too much, man. So I had to try it out. You notice I turned it off, right? Or else, see, it doesn't move anymore. I had to turn it off. It was even bothering me. What would you say to prospects when calling here says something's along the lines of, did you know there's a Super Bowl? What would you say to a prospect when calling and he or she says something along the lines of, did you know there's a Super Bowl game going on? Did you call somebody during the Super Bowl game? On a Sunday, you shouldn't be calling anybody. I'm not giving you any advice on that one, man. Just joined, remind me today's... just join your session to remind today's Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't... I've lost my, when I was a kid, man, I used to love sports, man. I used to love it all the time. But I think what happened, I don't know, something happened over time where I just don't, I'm just not into sports anymore. So that's the reality of that. But anyway, thought I'd jump on here real quick. Now that I know it's Super Bowl, I feel like definitely getting off this call. So you guys can now, who didn't hear about it, go enjoy the Super Bowl game. But anyway, thank you guys. I'm going to be expanding the studio. We're going to be adding some things to it. More to come. Great new content. By the way, we dropped some new courses on the Sales Velocity Academy. So if you haven't visited the Sales Velocity Academy, check it out. And on that note, I'm going to make this a short one. I'm signing off. Take care. Have a great night. Enjoy the